discover in any of the songs that you've written, I think we're all familiar with Taylor Swift and her ability to out somebody in her songs. Have you used your music as a forum for that, as a basis?
I
Secretively?
think subconsciously it happens. I don't plan for it to come out that way in the beginning, but then a situation will come about in my life that I'll say, oh, that's why I wrote that.
Has anyone ever come back to you and said, was that written about me?
Not lately.
There don't seem to be a lot of women rockers anymore. And every once in a while, every couple of years, there will be a very prolific band. And I think in the 80s, we saw the most from the all-girl bands. And I don't say all-girls with any disrespect to you. They're girl bands. We had the Bangles and the Go-Go's, and they've all come and gone, whereas a lot of the male bands seem to have lasting power. What do you think is the difference between that? Why don't girl bands last?
They don't get along, probably. That's here's the thing. It's kind of, it's tough. You can take being an all-girl group to, you can take the advantages of it though, so there's not many. If you're talking about the 80s, you're going to say, the Go-Go's, the Bangles. If you're talking, for us, those groups gave hope to the 90s girls who started, Riot Girl movement, and they had this crazy attitude which then inspired us. So, it's kind of a slow process. I don't think we'll see too much of this explosion of all-girl groups, and you don't ever see women in rock anymore. I think it's gonna be there because there's always gonna be ignorant people everywhere, and sometimes one of the things is how do they look, it's never been that way. Like with guys, you can have this big chunky guy, and he can be all these women are all like, he's so hot, he plays guitar, so.
That's the thing with the Bangles and the Go-Go's is they weren't real bands. They had people write things for them and people tell them what to like, tell them how to look. That's why they probably didn't have the strength of some of the other male bands, because the male bands go in there just shoving themselves into whatever situations they want to without worrying about how they look. But then it's about having that strength within your group, with your friends, however you started, having that goal, always reconnecting to the roots. Because if you don't, then you're going to get lost in all the glamour and all, this is what you have to do this, and then you won't be a surviving all-girl band. And it's a shame that that happened to such bands, because now you see it now they see the regrets they had. So I think we just want to carry that on now for future generations. And Bikini Kill, it's a front female singer, but L7, they're still around, and their music still empowers because they've always had that attitude. They didn't get wrapped up in you have to look like this, you have to sound like this. They just did it.
One of the Cindy Lauper in an interview for a PBS documentary called Women Who Rock that came out in late 2011 was asked why she thinks that male musicians get all the credit. And do you think that they get an unfair share of the credit for creating rock?
No, because sometimes you can use them as muses. You can use them to write, certain things. But as far as, it's hard to say, because if I were to say what my favorite guitar player is, I'd say Jeff Buckley. Unfortunately, I wouldn't say a female person right away. So, what do you guys think?
Well, what Fanny and I were talking about is, it's like, there is female rockers, there's been, or female musicians, everywhere, from the 30s, 40s, 20s, whatever, there's always been women that play music, but they just don't get documented as much as maybe a male would. So it's kind of like, what Fanny and I were saying, it's really sad, because you could have had your favorite guitarist, your favorite bass player, whatever, and they could have been female, but you would have never known about them because they don't document this kind of stuff, and they still kind of don't, which is sad. So, yeah.
Listen to your woman, but not closely.